Yo, what is up, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying or enjoyed your weekend. Hopefully, you have a good Sunday evening. Just trying to make sure the kids didn't mess with anything. I think we're good. What is up? What is up? Just trying to get everything settled in. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's work week going or looking like? Let's see. All right, I think we have a new channel member. Just want to give a quick shout out to Mark Harris. What is up, everybody? So, real quick rundown. I appreciate everybody that comes in uh, and gets a YouTube membership. It's not necessary. It's just to help the channel out. That means like stickers and shipping for things, which I'll do the stickers again very soon. So Gary Carnell, D Tolls keeps moving. Mark Morales, B1062, Darwin Hooks, True Results, HTX, Brian, Calix, Neil, Chevy Runner 88, and like I mentioned, our newest one, Mark Harris. I appreciate you guys. You guys will start seeing some videos popping up pretty often this month. Trying to get all that upload. So basically, I also upload a lot of videos in ahead of time, but I have a certain schedule that I keep to keep the YouTube algorithm happy. So I can't post them all at once. I got to post them 2 to 3 times a week. So if you're a YouTube channel member, you get access to those early. I'm also going to start dropping, but this is more for newer techs, like not tech tips, but like explaining different things. So we're going to explain a few things this month. We secured our first, I call it training day. So if you guys ever go to my channel and go to the playlist, or I'm going to have it on the homepage now. If you ever see a playlist called Training Day, it's just a fun name that I put for it. It's basically where I've done videos in the past explaining like defrost termination on a job site. I explained how I use a cheater cord. I've explained I think a defrost timer, but like a residential version of it. I've done a few videos here and there. I just hadn't gone back to it. It's kind of what I wanted to do with the channel. And work. I like to work, so I post a lot of work stuff, and then I started doing more tools and Vito stuff. So we're gonna go back to those kinds of videos. I just wanted to try and get them sponsored so I could have some equipment to show, some parts to show, and then kind of showcase some products that might help you out in the field, make your life a lot easier. So there is a video that I just uploaded, but it's not public yet. If you guys are a channel member, you'll start seeing those first. That's always like like the perk of being a channel member is you see everything first. And sometimes I'll have to pull videos and never actually post them, but if you're a channel member, you'll see those videos. So just explaining, and I want to shout out the channel members before we get into the live stream. So starting probably starting next week, this live stream will be brought to you by FastStat. So FastStat does wire extenders. So we're going to be talking a lot about thermostats and how I check them, how they work, things like that. So that's just a few insights on what's going on with the channel. Kind of, this Sunday night stream is just hanging out, kind of getting caught up, tell you guys anything that's going on. So let me go to the chat. What is up? Freon Leon, Brian Sanders, Nasty, or Joe's twin brother, I should say. Modern Comfort. Oh, he says his helper gave his 2 weeks notice yesterday. Knew it was going to happen soon, but right at the start of the summer. Sucks, it does. We just hired a couple of guys, and I checked in on one of them like, "Hey, are you good? Because I know you're coming in right in the thick of things. Like it has not slowed down." So the other one just finished high school. He like we it's another family member down the line, but he just finished high school and he's going to trade school and he started working with us and he has a buddy that wants to learn, so we might have another helper. So we'll see how that goes. They're coming in right at the peak. I just woke up from a nap, Freon. Also working on some cool stuff for HVAC nights. So do not forget to tune in on Thursdays for the HVAC nights show. We actually have a good one this week. We're gonna talk A2Ls over on that channel. All I'm gonna say is I wouldn't miss it. It's gonna be a good one. We got some stuff planned. What's up, Rudy? Mike, I saw you a while ago. Finally made it to a stream. So what's up? Need to know more about water economizer chillers. Well, Jason's in the chat. First time here, scuba diver. What is up? Welcome in. It's just Sunday night hangout. I feel like you relax over the weekend if you're not on call. If you are on call, shout out to you guys at work weekends. I know at our company we alternate. I'm pretty booked for tomorrow. Jason's like, I'm a new HVAC tech. Teach me. um, I actually had so the thing is, right? Like we've been busy, and I'm not complaining. It's just hot. I'm always gonna be complaining about that because I'm on the rooftop all day. That's just is what I do, right? And it's what I prefer to do because you'd rather you catch me on a rooftop than behind a desk because I do have to do all the billing and emailing and I got to do stuff for the content that I post out, trying to make sure that I don't let any of the things that I do slip too much, right? So the business aspect, also being in the field because I get a lot of calls that come in that I have to do myself. Content creation, like actually filming and then also editing and then coming up with different things for like sponsors, like all of that stuff. I've been asked how I do it. It's just every day I'm working on something different. So I work every day, especially right now in the summer. Weekends, I try to take like the Saturdays off. We do things with the kids. I barbecue. Shout out to JK, I think, asked me on the video yesterday or made a comment and he's like, "Hey, are you barbecuing today?" I'm like, "Yep, that's our weekly tradition." So I try to, block off my Saturdays not to do anything. And yeah, it's just, every day I have something to do. One day I'll have to edit a podcast, one day I'll have to edit the next video, next day I have to do a sponsor thing, next day I have HVAC nights. Like it's just a constant thing. Then they have the social media stuff. So all of that, I just try not to let any of them slip. But it gets hectic during the summer, right? So the one thing I've always said is I run this business with my dad, but I can't go out and get more work for myself. Now, right now I don't want it, so I'm trying to avoid it, but if I get more work, that's more work for my dad or like his side of things, the commercial kitchen, the cooking equipment, all that kind of stuff because we do restaurants mostly. And I do have restaurants that reach out to me. And a buddy of mine, some people I went to school with have a meal prep type of place, and the thing is they got a quote. It was outrageously high, and then yeah, they said the bill was a little bit too high for them. Could we give them a quote? We gave them a quote. We're hundreds of dollars cheaper, and my dad was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. And I'm like, we gotta help them out. and they wanted me to do their coolers and, reach-ins and that kind of stuff. So I don't typically go out looking for work because we have too much. For me in the summer, we have too much, and then for the other guys that do the hot food side, in general, they have too much. That's why we hired, training them. They are running their own calls now, so hopefully that helps quite a bit. So I just wanted to get that out there because I have a Monday tomorrow that is completely booked, and those friends of mine that I was trying to schedule them for Tuesday, and they're like, "Can you come out on the weekend?" And I was like, "I'm not working this weekend. Sorry, can't make it. I'll schedule you for Monday. We'll squeeze you in on a Monday, right?" So, my Monday's booked up. Maybe I'll have a half day Tuesday, which really means half the day I'll be in the office catching up on things. So, oh, which reminds me, I'm supposed to do somebody else's podcast. I might have to cancel that. So yeah, just let me know what you guys have going on this weekend or what you got going on for the work week coming up. I'm kind of just filling you guys in on what I'm doing, but I want to hear about you guys, what you all got going on. If you have any questions, also this is like a Q&A type deal. Like I said, starting next week, it is going to be kind of sponsored by FastStat, so we'll talk about some thermostat things, not really product pushing. If you want to use our product, I will link that in the description starting next week. But we'll talk about like stuff that relates to it. So thermostats, troubleshooting with that, low voltage wiring, low voltage shorts, that kind of deal. And I got videos coming very soon. Brian, I got called out for a walk-in freezer, so shout out to you for working. Changed the defrost schedule. Was there earlier this week. 2 defrost a day for 25 minutes. Changed to 4 a day, 35 minutes. GM never told the other managers. Oh, so you had previously changed it out. I was like, this could go either way because I get calls for both of these things. So you go out there because I just had one a couple weeks ago that the doors messed up, and there's 2 locations that the doors are like trash, and I can show them with a thermal imager. That's what I like to use a thermal imager for, is checking heaters and heating elements and things like that, but also showing them the gaskets are messed up, right? The door's messed up. They don't want to believe it, but I'm going to, take these pictures with the thermal gun, the thermal imager, submit it, or just have it for my records because like, hey, I showed you, I told you, if you don't fix it, I know you're going to call me back for an iced up coil, right? So sure enough, I got called back out actually to both, but the other one was was a while back. They ended up getting a whole new system. So that kind of bought them some time on that. But as far as like the one that I just went to, it was a walk-in freezer that was a newer system. We actually just put this in, and the door was messed up. And I get there, and she's like, "I know the door's messed up, but it's iced up. Can you help us out?" So I had to actually add because I think it was like at 15 minutes, I believe, because this is the Grassland digital one, and I'm like, usually you don't need much more than 30 minutes, but I'll put you 30 minutes throughout the day. So it was like 4. I might have added a fifth. I don't remember. And I'm going to add you an extra long or 2 extra long ones overnight. So the ones that are overnight, those are 45 minutes. But if the defrost termination kicks in, you're good, right? You don't have to worry about it. It's better to set them longer than what you need as long as that defrost termination is working. If it's not working, then that's going to be a problem. But so I had to set those, and that was a call for that. I just had to water it down. Haven't been called back. It's been like a week and a half. So hopefully that resolved that. But I told her, you need to fix this door, please. Like that one and the other one that I've um, recommended. They get icicles inside. They get all this humidity and water drops inside. And I'm like, yeah, if you could please get this approved, we'll get you a new door. Like we do those all the time. We have a guy that knocks them out really easy because we don't build them, but we subcontract it. So the other half of that, what happened to you, Brian, was it's always good to give them a heads up, but see, here's the thing. You just have to let them know that there is a defrost cycle, because usually if I had just installed it, if I had just changed, like installed the unit or changed out the timer recently, I know more or less when I normally set my times. So if they call me like in the middle of the afternoon, like 2 o'clock, or they call me, first thing in the morning, I'm like, give it 30 minutes. It's probably in defrost. It'll come out. If the fans don't come on like within an hour, then you got an issue. So, call me out then. But sometimes that works out to where it's going by the time that you set it. But also I've had places that like to turn off the breakers when they go in there to the freezer. And then that'll screw up. There was one that was really bad. They would turn off the freezer every time they went in there to stock up or take like inventory. And that one was notorious. The times were always all screwed up on all different equipment. And then so like that happens where the breaker, they mess with the breaker that messes up the defrost time. And down here we get a lot of power outages, especially at these locations or certain locations. Power outages will screw up your time, real bad. So I have some that I go out to and I have to ask them because it's like 12 hours off or something. It's like, did you guys lose power at some point? And sure enough, they did. So those defrost things are a nuisance. I always tell them, give it 30 minutes or something, and then let me know. Or if you see the heaters on, because you'll see a pattern in the back, or if it's like smoking or hissing, any of that stuff, just kind of that goes along with educating your customers, like how their equipment works. Hey, you got a freezer, it's going to have defrost, it's going to have heaters, it's going to do this, it's going to do that. Make line coolers, the prep coolers, notorious for getting these calls that are nothing. It's just that they leave the top open when it's specifically, I've had to show them the manual. You can only leave it open during like rush hour, and it says there in the manual, usually an hour at the most or whatever. The rest of the day, it needs to stay closed, but they want it open because they're constantly making food through the day. And I'm like, you can't leave it open all the time. It's just not going to keep anything cold. And also explaining to them, making sure the stuff is pre-chilled when you put it in some of this prep cooler stuff. And, a lot of it's just educating the customer. It's just not like if it works or it doesn't. They need to know how that certain piece of equipment works. So, that's just it's part of the job. Oh yeah, just ended. When do they do the Vito bag promo? All through spring, and now we're summer officially. What is up, Kitchen Cowboy? I Yeah, sorry, Russo. It's every year at the same time. You're gonna what is it? It's March, April, and May. And yeah, March, April, May. Modern Comfort. My other kid is graduating from high school. He's green behind the ears and was falling asleep driving around the other day. Just got my new core depressor in today. 64. It's like a 95 to 100 here, average. You damn right, Rudy. Nights. We need that chant to be a thing the next time we do the AHR podcast pavilion. That was a lot of fun being up there with the guys. Didn't know what to expect. I appreciate everybody that that supports everything that I do, obviously. But that HVAC nights group show, that chat, that audience, that's really fun for me. And it was really cool to see a good um outing right? There was quite a bit of people at that AHR when we took the podcast pavilion, and it was nice to see. If I could, that would be a good one. If I could actually find a tank of it, so I can't right now. I haven't even checked in the week, but I don't think anybody has it. I also heard Ty talking about not being like the adapters, because you need a whole new um reverse thread adapter to even use those tanks. I heard those, or he said those are sold out. So if you can find one and you didn't get an adapter, I mean, you can't even use it. Evan, what's up? You're on call. Ends tomorrow. Is HVAC worth the stress? I don't know if anybody else answered. Maybe let me look down real quick. So I mean, for me, the question would be, is running your own business worth the stress? And I would say yes. But as far as like just HVAC in general, I think it is. I mean, it depends on what kind of stress. Like, are you asking? Let me see. My company does a lot of Linux. So are you in the field, or like what are you asking about as far as stress? Because for me it is worth any of the stress, but again, I'm coming from a business owner standpoint, because I'm on call, or I'm doing this 24/7. So the past couple of weeks have been really stressful with everybody running around trying to get my dad on the same page for things, and making sure our guys are in a position to do what we need to get done, right? So stress, yes, I get stressed out, but I love doing what I do, and I don't consider it like the stress you get from HVAC or running a business. They're kind of one and the same, because you get satisfactory from fixing something. That's what I get out of it. I get a joy. I get, I love problem solving, all that kind of stuff. So if I get stressed out at work, on a call, whatever it is, I got to just take a break, take a breather. And then you're like, oh, okay, do this, do that. And then like you fix it. It might take you a little bit longer, but you fixed it. That feels awesome. So for me, that's what I think of when you ask that question. It is worth it, because what is the other side of that? Like if you don't do HVAC, you're going to go get a college degree, you're going to go get a business degree, you're going to go sit behind a desk, you're going to go report somewhere 8 to 5, and just not be appreciated. And I'm just talking from experience, because I used to work at a grocery store and I hated that place, because they always found a reason to not give me a raise, to say that I wasn't doing enough. And I was a kid, 19-year-old kid, running the whole grocery section of a Sam's Club. All the older guys, they kept having to pull them out. The guys that were supposed to train me, pull them out to go to other places because they needed help elsewhere, that they were shorthanded. And I'm running this whole grocery section the best to my ability, making sure it's clean, making sure people are helped, everything's stocked. But I'm not doing enough. Just it pissed me off like really bad. So I'd rather be on the rooftop, problem solving, getting a customer their cooling, whether it's a walk-in or an AC system, and then being like, thank you. We needed this now. You came here and you fixed it. And not to mention, you got to look ahead for most of this, any of the trades. You got to look ahead. Like, Are you going to want to learn something else? Like, are you doing residential and you want to learn commercial? Are you doing residential and you want to learn like refrigeration? Um, what are your, like, what do you want to do? You can do anything you want to in this trade. Yeah, refrigeration, it's where it's at. That's my preference all day, every day. And Modern Comfort has a good point. It's work. That's kind of what keeps me sane, is that it's just work. Even though it's my business, if we go out of business, I'm screwed, right? But it's just work. Even if you run your own thing, it's just work. Clock out. Obviously, your phone still rings and you still got to email or talk to customers or answer these or answer that, but it's just work. Um, Learn to kind of turn it off, or, um, have that switch inside. You're off work. Don't worry about it. And like I said, it's cool when you can fix things for customers, but like you can't do, like, you're not Superman. I had to learn that too. Like, you're not going to fix everything. You might have to tell them, okay, we can't get it going today. We need to either get a part, or I recommend a new unit, right? So think of it that way too, because that used to stress me out more, is trying to stay there late fixing something, and after a while you're like, I need to just I need to get out of here. I need to reschedule you. We need to go get a part. We need to, get you a price on a new system, whatever it is. Like, you can't do everything. Yeah, Jason is the king of ice machines. Every single one gets replaced. Ooh, yeah. Mike was talking about refrigeration. We repair everything. Sometimes the system gets changed out. We do that too. Like, I'll tell them, I'm not gonna leave you without cooling, so we will patch it. We will bypass something, but the system needs to go, right. So I'm still gonna fix it, just because. And I have that one that I can't get the coil for, and I'm like, you know what, I can't leave you without AC this summer, so I had to put a leak seal in it. I don't recommend that. I don't push that, but realistically, that was my best option there. So, you get it going. They gotta have, yeah, refrigeration. You gotta have food cold, and residential. You gotta deal with a lot of cheap customers. That was always my fear, is like residential, and like everybody that does residential. My hat's off to you still, because you still got to take care of, a lot of people. But you're going into their house, you're going into their home, and they like, that's their money, right? That they're spending. Whether you tell them they need a $100 part, or they need a $20,000 system, like, that's their money. On the commercial side, I still get those customers that penny pinch, but it's not as bad, right? And then, if I tell whatever I tell them is usually what goes. Like, if you need a new system, you need a new system. You can't do too much about it. But we deal with those customers too. And we just dealt with it not too long ago. There's still, so my dad is very adamant now that he doesn't really want to deal with local restaurants, because we got treated like crap recently at one. Um, because we had told him that, well, I wasn't there, but they had told him that there was multiple leaks. The guy just wanted it topped off, and I don't know what. And guess what? It leaked out again not too long after that. He got really pissed, but he didn't want to pay, and I don't know what. We're trying to get him by until we can get him a new system, because we wanted to replace it. He wanted to try and fix it. And you got to learn when to walk away too. But we like my dad's rule against local places now. I do them every now and then, but I just whether it's a new customer and it's a big account or a small account, I just try to make sure that I do everything possible. And the only way I can describe it is if whenever you work, it doesn't matter who you are. Like I work for myself, so I technically don't have anyone to answer to. But like if I'm working out there, it's the same thing as one of my technicians out there. Like work as if somebody is watching over your shoulder or if somebody's going to come behind you and check your work, because that is the worst feeling. That is the worst way to well, that's a way to lose work. If somebody goes behind you and it looks like a bird's nest, you leave a mess or you leave something ugly or you leave something bypassed, and then they're going to be like, well, so and so did this, so and so did that. That's not good work. That's not good quality work. So I mean, that's my whole thing is just, act like somebody's always watching you or someone's going to check your work. And we deal with it too on the commercial side. Some customers, and it's typically the smaller restaurants. Not all of them are like that. We've had some really good ones. I've had some that pay, on time and call me back for more work. But yeah, sometimes you get burned too by commercial accounts. Collecting checks, submitting rebates. That reminds me, I need to get back to my emails. We got to do our truck wraps finally this week. We're trying to get all the logos sent over to the guy and everything. Trying to get all that finalized so we can have all our other guys with the wraps. Let me see. Good day, Duckling Ducks. Is a field piece 640 multimeter a good meter to buy, and how long are the field piece meters lifespan? Let me see. Not sure if anybody answered, but I've had field piece. Now there is a whole thing right now going on with field piece, but it's like everybody with their quality control. So I do post quite a bit on my Instagram. If you guys haven't yet, go follow the Instagram. And I posted in my stories that their hoses had leaked on me. So I have the stubby hose that I use for my probes, and it's the field piece ones. And I really like the way they look, the way they work, and all that. Then I realized that one of them was leaking. And some guy on TikTok, Christian, that I've had on the podcast before, was posting that I think a couple of his on, and he had the longer set on his manifold. They were leaking in the same exact spot that mine were, I think. And he had a bunch of comments that everybody said that they had field piece hoses that were leaking. So hoses, I would stick to Yellow Jacket and Appion. That's for me. But the meters, I think they last me a long time. The only time I've ever broken one is when I dropped it off a roof, and it was a school. It was a pretty high roof. Other than that, I had the meters from my school when I went to school for it. The LT16A, which is that old school one with the adapters. That's the one they had us buy, and I never had issues with it. That's the one that had fuses in it, and you had to move your lead over to do microfarads and then move it back and all that. So like, I burned a few fuses trying to learn how to use that meter, but I mean it worked fine. And I have the field piece 260 no, 480 and 680, I believe. And they've all been good. I like the bigger one. I think that's, the one right before the newest one, or is that the newest one? But they, because their manifolds have like similar numbers, but I like that one because it has the phase. What is it? The phase rotation, the swivel clamp has come in handy a few times, and you know, if I had to recommend one, it would be the one in the middle, like the 460 or whatever it is. But as long as it has a Wi-Fi on it, I think that would be a good meter to get. So if you're trying to get a meter that can do everything, I think Field Piece is still one of the better ones. Field Piece clamp meter. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, I have the 680. You're talking about the 640. Let me look that one up. Does this one? Okay, I'm looking at the 640. Let me go look at the 680 now. Wire. I would get, if you're gonna get that specific one, get the 680 SC 680. But if you, even if you get the 480, the one in the middle, just make sure it has. I would say just make sure it has wireless capabilities. I'm not saying you're gonna use that all the time, but it's useful. Like when you're checking temperature, you can actually check it on the app. So you can use the app when you're checking temperature, or checking even if you're checking like amperage and stuff like that. Also, when you're checking something that needs to be with the panel closed, so like a blower motor, you want to leave it in there, you can close up the panel and check your amperage that way. And if you're checking a compressor, like on an RTU, you can't leave the panel off because it'll mess with the airflow and mess up your amp reading. So whichever one you get, try to get the wireless one, which is 480 and 680. And then I don't know if they make the small one in wireless or not, but I would just say get the wireless one if you're looking to buy one. Oh, did you get the he's doing the same ones that I did, the HSF tools, I believe. Is that the one he sent out? They're pretty solid. I did a few of the bigger style ones. I don't know which ones he did. And I have way too many now. Just like I gave each of my guys got one basically now. So they're useful. They have their place. A br- I know, but to them it's too cold and they'll turn it off. I get after them all the time. Then there's places that have like and I've only seen it at a couple of places that have that dial on the door to where you can set a timer for it to shut down or the fans can turn off. I forgot which one it is. I've only seen it twice locally. So there's a couple of places that had that, but no other places I've seen regularly have that. So they're just flipping off the breaker. Ran up on an OT call last week. Freezer worked great, except for the fact that there were 7 random defrost. One was for an hour and 15, and there was no termination. That sucks. Yeah, I tell my guys, like, try not to put too many because sometimes you have to compensate. Like I said, for the bad door or whatever, but don't go crazy. I was like, the most I would put it is 45 minutes, and that's if it has a defrost termination. Because if it doesn't, then it needs to be like under 30 minutes. unless it has a really bad icing up problem, and that needs to get addressed. Was that coil nice and toasty? Can you imagine? And if it doesn't have a termination, and you got that much heat and humidity and wetness, can imagine how that freezer looked. And I tell my customers all the time how that stuff works, and I'm like, yeah, I explain it to them, and then later they'll ask me like, is that why we have all the frost around the door, on the ceiling, um, droplets and stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's usually either the door or the termination isn't working. The same walk-in, I ordered curtains because the old ones were ripped. Plus, the closure doesn't close all the way; it leaves a 1/8 gap. We installed curtains at a couple of locations. Not the last one that I was talking about, but like other ones, because they were stubborn that they were not going to do the door right now. I was like, well, approve some curtains and we'll put that in at least, and it does help. But and it has that door is warped and it is inflated because it's gotten wet or something inside, and it's been kicked. It has all these dents, but they're not going to replace it right now. It's still, they got a new system because that compressor was giving out, and I want to say it had some leaks or something. So they got a new system, and guess what? It's working way better now, to where they're like, "Nah, we don't need the door right now." I'm like, it's just gonna mess it up again. The night's chat is fun. I appreciate that. Gonna try and make the Vegas one. Um, yeah, we should all be there. That's a good one. That's a hard one to miss. Chicago is not so fun. Vegas is cool. The weather's nicer. What is up, Pro Thermal Refrigeration? Welcome in. Who's going to Vegas? Too early to know. Brian. Every job gets stressful. Every day is stressful. You just got to learn to let it go. That's my whole attitude. I don't think I got to talk about it on Gil's podcast because we were talking about a whole bunch of things, and I like, my whole attitude is like, move on, forget about it. And some people, I don't think some people like that. It's just, I can't live, whether it's at work, after work, with anybody. I don't like to be stressed out. I don't like to be overworked, I don't know. Just, do your job, take a break. Tomorrow's a new day. You go back and, get whatever you need to get done um, when you can. Jason, it's worth the stress. Here we go. Learned over the years that 95% of my stress is self-induced. Yeah, you can eliminate that. Hardly have a shitty day anymore. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you have to, and like he's saying, it's self-induced. I mean, it could be that, or it could be somebody chewing you out every day. Whatever it is, like, you have to learn when to step back, when to let something go, when to, you know, not let it get to you. That's that's probably the worst part of this trade, and possibly anything in life, any job, any other, stressful thing, is just relax, chill out, take a break, take a breather, and try to eliminate like that self-induced stress, whether you're, being hard on yourself, beating yourself up for something at work, or not being able to get to something. I don't know. There's different reasons for that. Obviously, if you work for somebody else, that plays a part in it. But learn to let it go. Eliminate it, and you don't even work a day in your life. It's just, do your job, do the best you can, and live with it. 100K ain't what it used to be. Have you used the new Klein quad flip bit on some threads yet? They make other sizes too. Oh, I think you had commented, right? I haven't gone through my comments. I meant to do that on this show, and I've been trying to keep up with the chat. No, I don't see that a lot. Where I would see that is like more for like 11/32, possibly like the 7/16. That comes to mind, where I could use it over, use it as a deep socket basically. But no, I haven't tried it. It's there in my van. It's like a backup for that quad socket. It's that one that had the spring inside where it gave you like four different socket sizes basically, but it's like a deep socket. There's no magnet, and it's not what I wanted it for, but it might be useful. We'll see. Mike, my problem is I care way too much. Always bail a green tech out. Froggy, I'm contemplating on changing jobs. This is the best part. You can get a job anywhere in this trade. That's what I've always preached and tried to remind people. And I think I mentioned it earlier. Like, you can work on a roof, you can work in residential, you can work in a freezer, you can work at a school, you can work a facility manager, you can be a project manager, you can do construction, you can do, or new construction, you can do remodels, you can do desk jobs, you can do parts houses, whatever it is. Like, you can do marketing. Um, there's a lot of different things you can do in this trade. I have a pretty trusting company, and when I tell a dispatcher to add me to another text call, they don't ask questions. There you go. What is up, Ewok? We got E in the chat. There are cheap customers in commercial and industrial. Same problems, just more expensive. It's all relative. Yeah. Um, I guess the only difference, but I'm in that light commercial, so fast food chains, they're gonna tell you no because they want like a bonus, or they don't want to use all that money, budgets, things like that. But then they get upset when you put them in the back of the line, because then they approve something and it's like, oh well, you told us no. Um, yeah, it's weird. And then another company will come in, give them probably like a way cheaper bid, and all of a sudden they have all these new units, and then they all need some sort of repair or service because it wasn't installed right, something of that nature. The chat is chatting. Let's see. Yeah, BPHC has a field piece meter that is 20 years old. I still have one somewhere that is like one that I found in my dad's shop. Somebody had a field piece at one point because he swears that he's a fluke guy. But it's there. I had dusted it off. It's an old LT. It's one of the LTs. I don't know if it's LT16 original or something like LT17 maybe. But it wasn't the one that I had. It was like an old version of it. LT17A. I always forget the numbers. Yeah, the 480 is a good one, and I would highly suggest if you want something better than a basic meter, 480, 680 Wi-Fi capabilities. 260 is a good one if you're starting out or you just need one that just does basics, right? It does all the amperage, capacitance, ohms, voltage, and that's still a good meter too. I had that one for the longest time. I just bought some R12 JB gauges for $6 at the antique shop. Looks brand new. That's really cool. I have a few old ones, not super old. I have like an old Imperial set, but I've seen people that do the antique HVAC collecting, and I'm like, that's really cool. I wish I had done that and have some showcase of HVAC antiques. E went to an HVAC class and had a couple of field piece engineers like sitting in the class or like teaching. Start a museum. There you go. Oh, the 480 fits in the pouch of the MB5B. Yeah, I've been telling them, can you make it just, and I already gave up, but like, can you make it just a little bit taller for the 680? But I gave up. Well, I was using the 480 as well. Then I just went down a rabbit hole and I've been using not the field piece, the Milwaukee one. And I like it. It doesn't do everything the field piece does. It's $130. What is a field piece 260 at? 260 is like $150. The Milwaukee one is like 129. I think the only thing it doesn't do is inrush. It does everything else. But I'm not somebody who's always checking inrush, and if I do, I'll just go grab the other meter. Tyler, the LT17A is my only meter that reads microamp DC. I have the SC660, but they discontinued those. 440 is my everyday. Maybe that's why they had us buy those. I had one of those, the 16A or the 17A. I don't remember. It's somewhere in a bag somewhere. And I just didn't like it that it wasn't a clamp meter. It had the attachment, but I hated using the attachment. Um, but yeah, that sounds familiar. Maybe that's why they had us buy that one. UAI meters are cool too. I forgot what the special edition one is, a blacked out one. That one is really cool. I've considered getting that one. Brian is both field piece and fluke. Jason gives a list. Fluke 376, 378, 87-5, and 902, all great meters as well. I don't know I wonder what the price is, but my dad complains about everything price wise. And he doesn't like to buy anything himself. I always have to buy the Milwaukee stuff or the the bigger equipment or like the tools. Like I was just thinking I need to go look because his birthday just came up, and I helped him on a gas valve change out, and we had trouble getting the fittings off. And I was looking at his tools, and he still has these pipe wrenches that I got him because he doesn't like to buy himself anything, right? So I got him a nice set of pipe wrenches. I actually got them through being a content creator, so I didn't buy them, but I got them and I gave them to him. And I was looking at his tools. I'm like, dude, you need like I want to get him those where I think they're Wera, those Joker wrenches, because I was like, they're like he's using. I was like, you need those Jokers, and I wanted to get him like a pipe vise, the ones that you like, the brand pipe vise that you can sit down or put down, put the valve in, and then take the fittings off, and you have leverage. So I was like, those are a couple of tools that I need to get him that he won't buy himself. We got it done. Just could have been done a lot easier. I have Supco Redfish, two of them. Let's see how long they last. I started with the Amp Probe and then went to Fluke, and now the Amp Probe, yeah. And now you're back to now you're on the Redfish, but it is a little bit slow. Gotcha. Fluke 52 II blows the field piece dual temp meter out of the water. I'll have to look into that, Brian. Yeah, the HSF tools. They have good imagers. I was surprised. The timer should kill the liquid line solenoid valve, shouldn't it? Yeah, but and then yeah, Mike brings up intelligent. The solenoid valve, yeah, it's on a timer, and you put it for the time. It's a solenoid valve for, because I was just thinking about this for like a video. Um, Pumps it down and all that for the defrost, but if it has a defrost termination, that's just what kicks, or it doesn't let it do the full time. It'll, what do you call that? Activate whatever, the little thing on the back that kills or bypasses it basically. And it'll kick it back into a free cycle because it senses that the coil got too warm. You're going to have and I'm just thinking out loud. I know it's nothing with what you said, but like that defrost timer works on a time, whatever you time it at. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever. An hour and 15, like I think Brian said. And then on your evaporator coil, you're going to have like basically a sensor on the side that can bypass the timer and tell it, hey, it's too warm in here. The coil has to be defrosted. Start back up, energize that solenoid. And then you get your free cycle back. Intelligent has a place on the board for product loading. You can set the time for as much as you want. And Intelligent is an EEV, electronic expansion valve. So that EEV is your solenoid. That expansion valve is your solenoid, your pump down valve. Oh, fan delays. I mean, yeah, same thing. We have one that we've seen where the fans don't delay, and it really screws them up. You need that coil to get cold enough before your fans start up again on a freezer. And that's what a delay does for your fans, is it goes into defrost, and then it waits until again on the side of the evaporator, It'll know when it's cold enough and kick your fans on. Just got to know how a few things work and you're good in refrigeration. Joe recently got S-Med 4. Might sound like a dumb question. Where is the best place to place clamps on an RTU to get good, accurate superheat and subcooling? Depends on the brand. Jason, superheat. 6 inches from the compressor inlet. Yeah. Subcool before and after the liquid line filter dryer. Typically, I mean, I kind of do the same thing. I just make sure it's superheat. Yeah, your suction line. As long as you're not right on the compressor. And then I will decide where to put it on the dryer, but you can do both. Yeah. I kind of do that just to make sure it's not restricted, but yeah, Jason's right on point. Yeah, because I do this. So yeah, you're getting it going to the superheat going to the compressor. I do this for refrigeration as well. You have a superheat at the evaporator because this is like a walk-in cooler or freezer. I check my superheat at the evaporator and then I check it at the compressor. Now at the evaporator, it's going to be different than at the compressor because by the time it gets back all the way out there, it's going to lose. It's going to lose some of that the temperature. It's gonna drop. I mean, rise. So on an AC unit, it's all there. It's an RTU, but yeah, there you go. Stopped up dryer. Yeah, the dryer is restricted or plugged. It's gonna start acting as a TXV, and it's gonna be colder on one end. Let's see. Carson, thoughts on removing analog controls with the new Bluetooth RFC controls? Um, I don't deal with that a lot. I don't know if anybody answered that. Jason, I stopped feeling sorry for cheap customers. You made a decision, live with it. Uh, the heat and air works at my house. I mean, the good thing is we can pick and choose. Anyone ever work with other techs who are so burnt out they do things wrong just to get the call over with? I work with some folks who really ruins the day when you work with them. All the time when I started, and it takes a lot out of you knowing something's done the wrong way. So it would bug the hell out of me. And then my only thing was like whenever I get the call to myself, whenever I got sent out by myself, whenever I had something to do, I'm going to do it the right way, even though it takes me twice as long. Or if I have to tell the customer it's like a late afternoon call and it's taking me longer than it should because I'm trying to do everything like properly, I just tell them, I'm sorry, but I have to come back the next day. So there are techs that just want to get in and out. I get it. Those are the ones that don't care. Um, just don't pick up any bad habits from them. And like I said, you might not even be doing the work. You're just learning or, having to be paired up with them. It's going to take a lot out of you putting up with it because I've been there and there's nothing you can tell them sometimes, especially if it's like senior techs and you're the younger guy. I dealt with that quite a bit. Yeah, Mike makes a good point. They're not burnt out. They're just lazy. So the only thing as the own as a business owner, the guy that now that I oversee everything, I try not to let my guys get burnt out because I understand it depends on the situation. If it's a tech that wants to get out early or wants to not do some of the work and they just want to get the call over with and they just want to get home, whatever it is, that's on them. If it's the company putting too much on their plate, that is the company's fault. That is whoever's in charge, whoever's the owner, whatever it is. Because me and my dad now, if we notice burnout, we tell them to slow down and take away some of the calls. I will go run extra calls if I need to. I will go in after 5. I will go in on the weekend that I'm not supposed to because I'm usually not burnt out. Like I've managed to figure that out in my workspace and what I do, but sometimes it falls on the company too. I mean, they can be giving the guys. I know there's some that wear it as a badge of honor, but you can't be giving guys 10 to 20 calls a day. It's just not possible. And sometimes there has to be like a communication thing because I've heard this too, where I've talked to some business owners. I forgot who I talked to, and they were like, I might give them 10 calls, that are next on the list, but I'm not expecting them to do them all. They need to tell me, where they're at and we can bump them to the next day. So there needs to be communication as well. But just from my perspective, like I see it with our guys too. And I get upset about it because they're rushing or doing things wrong, callbacks, this and that. But at the end of the day, it's also on me or on my dad to, pull them back a little bit and not make them feel like they need to get all this done. Like I don't like my customers, these restaurants, to tell me how quick I need to be or this and that. Like we're gonna do it. And we had just had finally did a duct. We had to reduct some work out of town and it was gonna be done overnight. So we finally did that. And I was like, just we had them take their time and they got a day off during the day because this was it was over Memorial weekend or that day, Memorial Day. They got the day off because they were gonna go in overnight that night to do the duct work. So like knowing that, we gave them the day off. Me and my dad worked, but we gave them the day off because they were going to be there, you know, doing that. So burnout is knowing to slow down, whether it's you or the owner telling them to slow down. Because the last thing you want is callbacks or bad habits or any of that. That I've seen it all. Oh, we can talk about inspectors. It's funny when you're at the restaurant, the inspector is there, and now the restaurant wants you there now. Yeah, and you told them the issue, and the inspector is the one telling them that they need to fix it. When it is inspection time, our phones go crazy. And yes, all the stuff that they said to wait on is like, get it done now. We're not meeting temp. We're failing this, we're failing that. And my God, that is a busy time. If you're asking me, I have not worked on any chillers. I took an industrial class when I went to trade school, but I stay in my lane. I do restaurant work, and that's it. But yeah, Jason is the guy to ask. He can talk. He can talk about chillers. He works on everything. He can't fix stupid, but you can charge for it. Not my words. Oh man, I cannot keep up with you guys. I'm gonna try and get through the chat real quick so I don't keep you guys too long, but a lot of you are still in here. Hydrate more. It's summertime. Yep. It is hot, hot as balls out here. And Jason's right. Heat transfer with water. Um, I forgot who I heard recently talk about that. Like HVAC is HVAC. Refrigeration is refrigeration. Like it's all the same. It's just how are you doing it? Would you like more light commercial HVAC and RTUs or refrigeration? Me, refrigeration all day. I can be on a walk-in freezer, cooler. I'll even take the ice machines, the reach-ins, hospital work, all that kind of stuff. Versus a split system. I hate split systems. And RTUs are okay, but I don't advertise that I work on RTUs. I advertise as a commercial refrigeration company that will do HVAC if asked to. And on that point, we're doing more maintenance on that stuff now. So I mean, it's a big part of our business, but I would much rather be working in the kitchen or in the freezer, cooler, stuff like that. It's more intriguing to me because like an HVAC system, because I'm seeing a lot of it now. It's not really the system that you have an issue with. It's like the duct, the filtration, the drain systems, I have so many systems right now, and I just did a video on my Instagram. I should post it here. Um, well, I have a whole video coming out, but all of the systems do not have any, like all the RTUs on both of my major customers for the most part. I mean, not all, some of them do have P traps, but almost all of them do not have any P trap of any kind. They all try to drain on the roof, and there's no sense in me. Like, I'll fix them as I see them, but there's no sense in me really pushing for it because each one needs like 20 stores that need to be redone. And are they going to approve that? No. So I only fix the ones where like it's overflowing inside, which happens quite a bit. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to redo your pipe. You need P traps. You need to route it, this and that. So yeah, on a refrigeration system, like commercial, like walk-in freezers, coolers, ice machines, it's always a refrigeration issue, right? It's like sometimes it's a motor, but it's like restrictions or something mechanical or whatever. Like it's usually something refrigeration related. Where HVAC, I feel like is a lot of like I said, drain, airflow, things that I'm not enthusiastic about. Refrigeration all day, and Jason loves ice machines. Pat, have you ever tasted New Bright? Pretty sure we all have at some point. I feel like I always got it all over my hands and everything. I refuse to use any of the blue brighteners now. I do refrigerate, well, pro thermal. I do refrigeration and HVAC. I want to build a custom equipment, but I want to build custom equipment, like refrigeration chillers or custom HVAC. Used to build custom ice machines for big cubes. It was pretty cool. Awesome. Jason is called Walmart. Oh man. What isn't made over there? Alf, man, I missed another comment like this. I forgot to bring it up. Alfred Hatcher recently started following you. Love all your content. Keep it up. hailing from New Orleans, Louisiana. Awesome, man. We were in that area not too long ago. That's awesome, man. Appreciate it. Let's see. Yep. If you're asking me about, yeah. Let's see. I never got to learn much on refrigeration. I worked on an ice machine a couple days ago. Let's just say it was a learning experience. That's the fun part. Um, so we have our guys working on ice machines too, the new guys, and it's funny because the guy that's been with us for a couple months now was teaching the kid on ice machines. I was like, it's it was cool to see. But like ice machines, it's like a thickness probe. It's usually a water issue, honestly. So is it the inlet valve? Is it the dump valve? Have they changed their filter? Most likely it is a filter issue, water filter. And then you go to like, okay, if it's making ice, is it too thick, too thin? Thickness probe. Um, every now and then you get a faulty harvest valve or something weird, but it's usually water related, and it's usually a dirty issue. Nobody cleans their ice machines. So if you're not familiar with that aspect of it, just also food for thought. If you go out to eat, nobody cleans their ice machines. Nobody does maintenance. Nobody does any cleanings. So if you ever come up to one, the first thing you want to check is like the water level and then the water flow as it comes down over the evaporator. A lot of water related things because like my god, for the most part it's like dirty or either maybe a valve's not opening up. And then you can go on to, okay, are my harvest valves working? Do I have the right pressures? Fan cycle controls is another big one, because ice machines require fan cycle controls for the most part to do the harvest and all that. So I don't know. I like it. It is a lot to take in, but I would much rather, yeah, patient man's game. Um, I'd much rather be trying to figure out an ice machine problem than a duct problem. I don't like doing duct work. A lot of it's trash down here. It's like spider duct, as far as like flexible duct just thrown everywhere, not installed properly, dealing with drain issues, and I much rather be working on an ice machine. Let me just put it that way. VRF, another type I absolutely hate. All right, guys, much appreciated. I will kind of. This was great, though. I kind of got lost in the chat. That was awesome. Love talking to you guys, answering questions, getting the ball rolling on these different things that you guys bring up. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Hopefully, you guys have a good work week. And I'm gonna sign out. I don't think I have an outro yet, so I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Okay, I'll get in a couple more. Josh had to brazen the water control valve. It was in a building that froze over the winter and busted the valve. Interesting. Some nasty ice machines do still make good ice. Yeah. Hopefully you guys have a good work week. I appreciate you all, and we'll see you next week. Presented by FastStat. I'll have some more info on that and more videos coming out. So I appreciate you all. I'm gonna. We've been on here for a good while. See you guys.